We live. What's good, man? We live, man. 786-459-4999. 786-459-4999. Where my dunks at? Go get my dunks. Got him. Dunks. 786-459-4999. You want to get down with IOD Squad. $12 if you type in investor.12. We in this thing. Morning Breath Show. Actually, in the morning. We're finna break this thing out, man. It won't be a long show, but we're going to talk about what just happened with the University of Miami and with the University of Miami and the NCAA. We'll talk about that for a second. We'll say smash the like button. We in this thing, man. We'll talk about that for a second. So basically, man, University of Miami came out, sent out an email. I think it was first reported by Manny Rivaro. Shout out to Manny. But Miami ended up sending out an email basically saying that the University of Miami had violated NCAA transactions. They came out with a statement basically saying they violated NCAA rules. Now, y'all remember back when the NCAA actually came through, checked Miami out real early in the process. Y'all remember that? It was real early in the process, and we was like, they went to Ruiz's house, and Ruiz came back thumping his chest and talking trash like, hey, man, listen, bro. Doing this thing the right way. Well, actually, Ruiz was. I mean, to be one of the first pioneers out there in the NIL to jump out there, do his thing, will and deal and get a good understanding of the law and what was going on with the NIL. He did a good job. I mean, this actually came from the women's basketball coach Meier, who basically introduced the Cavinder twins to Ruiz a little early. And that's the picture that you keep seeing going around with Ruiz and Cavinder twins. He tweeted it out. We all remember it. Ruiz and the Cavinder twins at his house, and they had dinner. And he wished them good luck, yada, yada, yada. I mean, basically, what they're saying that I guess the interaction was too early. What came out of it was Miami agreed to suspend the University of Miami women's basketball coach 3 games. I think they're on probation. But it's minor fractions, whatever you want to call it. Minor, it was a slap on the wrist. What came out of the situation. Now I'll read it for you. Today, NCAA Committee Infractions and the University of Miami announced a negotiated resolution regarding a recruiting violation involving the head women's basketball coach Katie Meier. As a result of the violation, Coach Meier was suspended for first 3 regular season games in the season. The Department of Athletics will be placed on 1-year probation. The women's basketball program will serve recruiting restrictions. The institution will pay financial penalties. And this is for the Cavinder twins. Cavinder twins were a big deal in NIL from day one. They've done a good job at that. The NCAA enforcement staff conducted a nearly 4-month comprehensive investigation across multiple sports seeking to determine if violations related to the NIL had occurred. The investigation included a review of all communications, among other records, between institutional staff members and representatives of the institution, athletic interests, as well as dozens of interviews. Ultimately, the only violation in the case resulted from Coach Meier's communication with the representative of the institution's athletics interests. The university, which is Ruiz, which I'm taking as Ruiz. The university, student athletes, coaches, and administrators cooperated fully with the NCAA enforcement staff throughout the investigation. Coach Meier and the university have accepted responsibility, and this negotiated resolution allows us to move forward and is the best interest of Coach Meier. So basically, what I'm reading is that's it. I mean, that's it. That's what they found after 4 months of digging. That's what they found. NCAA bylaws that have been in books for decades and may no longer be applicable or realistic in today's environment. The sanctions that we ultimately agreed to bring this to a close are not commensurate of the violation or its intent. Coach Meier is an outstanding coach role model, teacher, and valued member of the Hurricane family, and we stand fully behind her program and our going departmental compliance efforts. And I think they say they brought Ruiz in and taught him some NCAA NIL stuff and yada yada yada. But what people are saying is, I mean, what we need to focus on is this. There's no tape telling Ruiz to get away from the program. There's none of that. There's no sanctions across every. The way I think people should be looking at it is that one of the first, maybe the first NIL violation, and what it was like a slap on the wrist. I mean, what it was like a slap on the wrist is, and that's what I think we should be looking at. It's kind of like, what does this mean going forward? You feel me? I would say what's Gucci. Like, kind of what does it mean going forward for NCAA recruitment? And I just put the Cavinder twins up there because it's about them, and I thought that was a cool picture to go with what was going on with the NCAA. And because I think if you're a Hurricane fan, you kind of knew this was coming. You knew it was coming when it came. Dropped off here first to go check out what was going on, and I think you knew it was coming just because Miami happened to be a small private school, not part of the SEC, not part of the big conference, not part of the in crowd, and usually those schools get treated as such. 4-month investigation, and this is what they came out with. Now, my thing is this. Would you take this? Like, would you take this? Ruiz jumped out there, turned into the godfather. Turned into the godfather of NIL. In the comment section, let me know. Like I'm saying, like, would you take this? Would you take these violations, and basically, would you exchange it for what Ruiz did in NIL for the University of Miami, for Life Wallet, for himself? Do you think it was worth it? Let us know in the comment section below how you feel about it. And I won't say how I feel about it. I think y'all can kind of conclude how I feel about it. But yeah, let us know in the comment section below. Was it worth it? Because I think he put a footprint in NIL and what he did for Life, what it did for Life Wallet. Life Wallet benefited a lot. The University of Miami benefited a lot from Ruiz's actions and how he stepped out there. I don't think people always agree with the way he handled business. I think some of his peers amongst him don't always agree with the way he handled business. But he said he knew what he was doing, and by God, I mean, for the most part, he does know what he's doing. And Josh would say at that point he'll say yes. Yeah, Craig, what did you do wrong? Just have a dinner. Yeah, basically they had a dinner a little too early. But Katie, the coach, introduced the girls. I mean, she thought that it would be a good deal for them to meet Ruiz, and that's how it's being reported. So, and it just happened a little too early. She admitted she didn't even know it was a violation. I can read you what it says right here. For over 30 years, I have led my programs with integrity and I have been a collaborative partner with the NCAA, collegiate athletics, and the transformation. And any advert mistake I made was prior to a full understanding of implementing guardrails and the clarification issued by the NCAA in May. Right. I think a lot of people, that's why a lot of schools didn't want to move. But us down here in Miami, we pump our chest. He jumped out there and we got the bull by his horns. We all look forward to a time when there is a national solution to help our student athletes, coaches, institutions. I'm happy that this matter is resolved as we continue to focus on mentoring and developing our student athletes and winning games for the University of Miami. What is that story on? Well, we're media. We're media. That's actually from the University of Miami. Their statement. Some of the excerpts are in the. Let me see. You remember? Well, the initial story came out in Manny Rivaro in the Athletic. You know what I'm saying? That was the initial story. If you go to my Instagram post, you can see actually a lot what was wrote on it and a lot about what happened. I put a lot of the script in there. So you can kind of read on what really happened. NCAA has found violations in the University of Miami. Let me see. Salute stream. What's Gucci? So yeah, bro. So there it is, man. I mean, if you just getting in here, man, NCAA came out, found violations with the University of Miami. Coach Katie Meier suspended for 3 games at the beginning of the season. Suspension already happened. It's crazy. I mean, she was missing the first 3 games, and like nobody like noticed or said nobody said anything. That was my understanding of it. And nobody noticed, nobody said anything, wasn't no heads up or nothing like that. If you're watching on Twitter, man, come check us out. Come on over to YouTube if you're looking on Twitter. Yeah, that's kind of wild. Yeah, I thought that's kind of wild. Save, get that out of there. So yeah, so I mean, when the email came across, when I saw the tweet, because it was reached by Manny Bavaro, was the first person I seen reported. When it popped up, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go. We all knew it was coming. It's here. Had nothing to do with football. Had a little bit to do with Ruiz. And all in all, it was a slap on the wrist. And I think it basically says NIL. Listen, man, this thing is still the Wild Wild West. What you say, Cal? Of all the schools, of course, Cal. It basically said, I mean, this thing is still basically the Wild Wild West, and I think they're still figuring out with the NIL what they can, what they can't do, what they will and what they won't do, what they're going to allow. But like Ms. Meier said, man, I hope we come to a common ground where we can just do what's right for these children, these kids. That's it, because they seem to be the ones affected. That's it. That's it. Do what's right for these children. That's it. Seems like they seem to be the ones forgotten, where everybody making their money and getting their bread. It's a cool picture. That's a cool picture of the Cavinder twins, ain't it? I thought it was cool, man. I hope they don't send me no DM on Instagram like, hey, could you please take that now? Because they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't get anything. Nobody else got anything. Only the coach. The coach, they came to agreement with the University of Miami, and the coach basically they decided on a 3-game suspension that happened already. Shout out to the villains, man. Listen, 786-459-4999. We're looking at the market right now. We want to get involved with the stock market. We just jumped in the ASA-RT play. If you want to get involved, with the market went red today. Kind of ugly today. But yeah, man, red means there's an opportunity to buy. You want to get involved with the stock market, man. It's $12. I think we have 15 more people who can get in, $12 left. And then that's it. Eventually it'll shut off by itself and it'll go back to $25 a month. You just got to type investor.12 right in the little promo, right in the little section under your credit card where it says like enter promo code or something like that. It's kind of hard to find, but it's there. So listen, man, I'm about to jump off here, bro. Listen, I just wanted to get on here and give y'all an update on what's going on with the University of Miami and what happened with the violations and the Cavinder twins and Ruiz. And at the end of the day, it's a slap on the wrist. At the end of the day, I tip my hat off to Luke Ruiz because he was a pioneer, bro. He jumped out there, balls out, say, listen, man, I read this stuff. I know what I'm doing. Let's ride. I think we could do this. And Life Wallet benefited from it. The University of Miami benefited from it. And my understanding is, after a 4-month investigation, what they came out with was this. An infraction of meeting with the Cavinder twins a little too early. So shout out to them people. What you say? Been ugly all week and still, yeah. So shout out to them people, man. And listen, man, Layla Streeter, Sydney Streeter, my daughters, Daddy love you. Oh, we could throw Darryl Streeter, Kenley Streeter in there too. All my kids, Daddy love you, man. Don't put off tomorrow something y'all could do today. The rest of your life could be seconds away. I'm D, and I'm out of here.